Let's Get Down to Business is presented by Bravo, the marketing arm of Ash Brokerage Corporation, the practice enhancement company. All this week, it's the top sales ideas for 2013, and on today's show, how to sell retirement income from insurance products. And with me today is top of the table and MDRT platform speaker, Tom Hegna. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician. Let's get down to business. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Thanks, Steve.
Day 3, we're talking with Mr. Optimal, Mr. Efficient Frontier, and of course the author of the very popular write-out on Amazon.com, Paychecks and Playchecks. And remember, just as Tom shared Monday, if you say, hey, I like this book, you want to order it, not only can you go out to his site and order it, I'm going to have Tom tell you that site again, put it out on the screen, but you could recover this and you could be with comments from Steve Savant. I love that. Right. And a little bit of cover bio inside the book.
Yeah. And your picture, and you can talk about why retirement's so important to you and your clients, so you get some wordage on there as well.
That could be a nice way. This is a very easy read. I think clients, don't you think clients can get this?
Absolutely.
This is well within their mind, and I like to say, hey, just read this and let me come back to you and let me talk. Today we're talking about, though, insurance products, and every time we talk about insurance products, especially on income, I'm looking at the 4 basic annuities: SPIA, interest rates that are driven for deferred interest rate annuities. We're looking at indexed annuities, whether the S&P, whether we're doing domestic or foreign, and we're also looking at variable annuities, which are in the market. Now, I've noticed, Tom, and I just want you to help me straighten me out here. I have the same interest rate. I looked at this just the other day off the Bulldozer, the software that measures all this. And I noticed we were all showing the same rate, showing the same age, but they were coming out with different income. What's happening?
Well, there's different calculation methods, and there's different fee structures to the different products, and some are simple, some are compounded, some are, so you've really got to dig a little deeper into each of those to know why the incomes would be different.
When I look at that option, it's kind of interesting. I'm going to ask you this. We have a lot of people that are into indexing, and they purchased the real out-of-pocket. It probably cost them a point, maybe a point and a quarter, to buy up a rate in the future. Maybe it's 5%, 6%, depending upon when they actually take constructive receipt. When I look at that, I may not want to go automatic and just turn the income on my index. I may want to look at what SPIA interest rates are, maybe the mortality credits have changed. I need to look at it one more time before I execute the actual income scenario. We might be 1035ing this.
Absolutely. Now, a lot of these have a cash value, and then they have a benefit base. And normally you can't roll the benefit base, you roll the cash value. But even rolling a smaller cash value over into a SPIA may give you a higher income than turning on the switch of your benefit base. So you want to take a look at that.
Now, this is all based, of course, on gender. It's all based on age. It's based on, are we doing life? Only. So all those calculations, but before you trigger it, remember, I want you to look at this and just do a little bit of due diligence before you turn on the income to figure out which one of those scenarios are actually going to deliver more income for your client.
That's correct.
When I'm looking at these things, I'm thinking, okay, you sold me on the first show. I know I'm all over. I'm Mr. Alpha now. I'm all over the idea of optimized retirement. Now we have competing products that we deal with every day on the street. The biggest one of all, of course, is bank CDs, certificates of deposit. They're not really paying a lot.
Right.
I mean, I think it's about, and I remember I haven't checked this at bankrate.com for a little while, but it's about 100 basis points below an annuity at 5 years, because you got to get out somewhere around 5 years before bank rates even start ticking up.
Right.
How can I compare? Because if I heard you right Monday, there is no alpha with CDs. Is that, I hear you right?
Maybe 100 basis points of alpha, but there's not significant alpha. Right. There's no outperformance.
When you look at CD alternatives for a thing like this, do you see that as a legitimate product for retirement when you compare it to alpha annuity? I don't want to outsell, I'm not trying to say CDs are not as good as this, but looking strictly at the math, as you've always said.
What I say is you got to ask the client, what do you want that money in that CD for? And if they say we need income, well, CDs weren't made for income, okay? CDs are a great place to have money for a short term. If you need it, it's there, it's liquid, you can get at it in a 3 month, 6 month, 12-month period. But CDs were never made for income. That's what lifetime income annuities are made for. And in fact, if you look at somebody who's got $100,000 in a CD paying 0.71, after taxes, they're going to get a little over $500 a year. You put that same money in a joint life SPIA, lifetime income annuity. You can even do joint life with cash refund to protect the kids. They're going to get closer to $5,000 a year versus $500 a year. So, you know, when I think back when I was an agent, who bought CDs? It was my widows. It was my 75, 80, 85-year-old widows. They're very conservative. They don't want to risk their money, but they really want to do something for their kids, but they can't live on $500 a year. So imagine if you did this. Go through your book of business, identify your widows, and go out and show them. Let's say a widow has 2 children. Run 2 joint life annuities, widow with this child, widow with this child. Now she's going to get 2 checks for the rest of her life. That's going to be significantly more than a CD. But when she dies, each child will get a check for the rest of their lives. See, that's kind of what the widow wants. She wants a guaranteed income she can live on, which the CD isn't giving her, but she wants to do something for her kids, which the lifetime income annuity could do.
Now, you just added a whole other thought process to my head. I love the annuitization issue for life, but now you're doing joint life, right, with mom on one child and mom with the other child.
Yeah.
And she'll receive 2 checks for her life, and then she's actually bequeathing these 2 survivors of her 2 surviving children. That's for life as well?
That's for their life as well.
Wow.
And so she could actually leave them far more money over that period of time than if she just left them what was left over after decimating the CD, because she can't live on $500. So she's going to have to keep going in and take money out of the CD, and she could eventually very well run out of money and leave the kids nothing. See, this is a way she can live a better life for the rest of her life, and she can ensure that each child will get something for the rest of their lives.
Well, I'm very interested in this because I think that's just a huge issue. We have income from my mom. I have income for myself, my sister. I love this, and this is pretty long. I mean, that next generation may live to 100, 110.
Absolutely.
When I think about human longevity and the risk of retirement and all the games that can be played with some of the most flexible contracts that are out on the street now, really, I just don't see CDs helping and support what we're trying to do if income is the play.
Yep.
When we come back from the break, we're going to talk more about RMD maximization, bear market recovery plan, grandmother, parent, child legacies. I love it all. And don't forget, you can view more of Tom's sales videos right on his website, Tom Hagna, at ondemand.com. And while you're online, don't forget to sign up for our 30-day free trial offer for backroom technician. Just go out to their site, brtnow.com/trialsignup.aspx. We'll be right back with more from Tom Hagna right after the break. Back in the day, life insurance professionals were called field underwriters. Then, carriers trained their field force in the basics of life insurance underwriting. Today, the insurance industry doesn't educate the agent population as they once did. But now you can have the Informed Risk Guide at your fingertips so you can illustrate a reasonable rate class for your life insurance prospects. Just request your copy of the Informed Risk Guide at downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. It's free from Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back. I'm Steve Savant with Tom Hagna, and remember, you can watch all our episodes of Let's Get Down to Business, including my weekly consumer show, Steve Savant's Money, the name of the game, right out on ashbrokerage.com. Just click on the show logo and it'll take you right out to the homepage. And just a heads up, before moving forward with any of the ideas on the show, always consult your tax advisor, your legal counsel, as well as your broker-dealer compliance officer. Well, let's get down to business. We're talking about some options here, like your first one, RMD maximization. Well, I'm trying to conceive of the last client I was with who was 70 and a half. He says, I really don't need it, but they're forcing me to take it. I guess they need tax revenue. I guess I have no choice. You say, well, maybe not. Maybe there's something here to do. Talk about required minimum distribution maximization.
Yeah. Well, one thing I say is, most people have an IRA or 401k. Why do you have an IRA or 401k? You're saving that money for your retirement. When you're 70 and a half, you're now in retirement. If you're 70 and a half, when do you think the best 10 years of your retirement is going to be? It's going to be the first 10, and I want to kind of drill this in because I'm going through some things with both my parents right now, health-wise, cognitive-wise. See, most people think retirement is 30 or 40 years of golf, tennis, cruising, and line dancing. That's not true. You go through 3 phases in your retirement. See, the first phase is what I call the go-go years. Now, Steve, the go-go years is when you're playing golf, you're playing tennis, you're cruising, you're line dancing. Every day it's happy hour somewhere. But the go-go years are followed by the slow-go years. Now, the slow-go years, you could do everything in the go-go. You just don't want to anymore. In fact, you don't want to go downtown after 4:30 because Dad can't see when it's dark out. That's the slow-go years. And then the slow-go years are followed by the no-go years, which are when you're probably not leaving the building until you're leaving the building, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Go-go, slow-go, no-go. Now, if you look at how RMDs work, here's how RMDs work. in the first years of your RMD, you're taking out the least, and it goes up every single year until you hit in your 90s where it tops out. And then it starts dropping dramatically till you're about 108. So if you look at this line, you know something's suboptimal. Like, you wouldn't draw a line like that. And what you're doing, in effect, is in the best 10 years of your retirement, you're taking out the least. And now when you're in your 90s, you're taking out the most. It makes no sense. And so what I say is, why don't you take your IRA from wherever it is, IRA, you move it into an IRA, joint life with cash refund. Now people say, Tom, you can't do joint life on an individual retirement account. Yes, you can. You can do joint life with your spouse. You can do joint life with your kids. You can do joint life with your golfing buddy.
So even if your qualified plan is under your name only,
yes,
the product itself and the ownership, or in this case, the payout benefits, have nothing to do with that.
No, you can do joint life. And so, so if you do joint life with cash refund, that line is going to be higher than this line every single year. And so you're going to get a lot more money in the best 10 years of your retirement, and you're going to not have this precipitous drop if you happen to live a long time. Now, some people say, yeah, but Tom, I don't even like getting that money because I got to pay taxes, and I hate to pay taxes. Now you're going to give me more money, that's more taxes. I say, no, we're going to take some of this extra money you weren't getting before. Take the mortality credits to pay the taxes. And now you're going to get more after taxes. All I can tell you is if you want to get more on that, you can search on the web or go into the book, and I get into detail. But that RMD maximization is a great strategy for seniors.
Yeah, in fact, actually, this is a huge thing. I've seen Tom do this before, and you talk about this at MDRT and some of the platform speakers at the top of the table. This is really opening up a lot of people's minds because we're so not used to this term mortality credits. Optimal retirement, efficient retirement, all the things that Tom brings to the table. Tom, talk about the bear market recovery. I mean, I'm sorry, but I just saw an article that says we think we're even now from 2008. We're just getting to even. Is that true? We're just barely getting there?
A few people are even.
Right.
What happened to most people? When the market crashed, you know what they did? They picked up their phone, they called their broker, they said those famous words, "Get me out." They're not back to even. They had rode that market up to their account was up to 600,000, then the market dropped to 400,000. They said, "Get me out." They're out. So now they had the 400,000. What are they going to do? They're not going back in the market. They don't care what I say, what you say. They're not going back in. So they call their banker. Banker gives them 1%, 4,000 a year. Well, now they're angry, they're bitter. What's the solution? Well, if you took that 400,000, so they had 600 at the top, you took the 400,000 out, you put 100,000 liquid, you put 300,000 into a joint life annuity, it's going to guarantee them over $516,000 for if one of them were to live to 100. You add in the 100,000 liquid, they got over 600,000 that they had at the top of the market. But some people say, Tom, I don't think we're going to live to be 100. Do you know if you put that whole 400,000 into a joint life with 30 years certain, the guaranteed payout on that would be over $600,000, guaranteed to the husband, wife, or the kids. Now, can the broker guarantee you back all the money you lost in the market? Can the banker guarantee that back? No, but the insurance industry can. It's just, will most people do that?
I think you just brought up a really good point because there is a yin and yang. We're not talking about lifetime income you cannot live now. We're talking about, hey, 30 years, you will, or your beneficiaries, somebody's getting this money.
Yes.
See, this is where I think we're clumsy in our conversations sometimes as advisors because we love, and I do love, lifetime income I cannot live. But sometimes that's not the play. And so I want to be able to punt and go 20, maybe 20, 30, as you suggested, 30 years, and that money is a lock.
Well, here's where that plays in let's say you got somebody who says, well, you're just giving me my own money back. That's a big argument. Oh, that lifetime income, and you're just giving me my own money back. I always say run a life with 30 years certain. You get way more back than what you put in. So if they're worrying about what the guarantee is, show them as long a guarantee as you can. 30 years certain, they're going to get back far more than what they put in.
When you do side-by-side comparisons, because some people like say, oh, I do, because everybody's interested. I write on this all the time. Lifetime income you can't outlive. But they may not be the play as we're suggesting. And putting those side by side and saying, this is a guarantee, guys, well, hey, 200, 300,000 of that is my own principal. You know, they argue that issue. But really, again, take the same, any other investment that you have this in, is it going to deliver those numbers?
Right, it won't.
To me, that's where it's huge. And you know what Tom has more on all these things. I mean, when I'm thinking about different alternatives, especially legacy planning for children, grandchildren, when I think about doing something for a charity that you love, these are the way to play to deliver the most optimal charitable giving and legacy plans. Well, that's our show for today. Remember, you can watch all my online insurance news commentaries, advisor blogs, and articles right on Producer's Web, as well as all my answers to consumer questions on theinsurancelibrary.com. And don't forget, you can view all our past episodes of right out on our on-demand section, right located at downtobusiness.ashbrokerage.com. So follow me on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, or just email me, steve.savant@ashbrokerage.com. And remember, you could be wiser as an Ash Brokerage advisor. I'm Steve Savant for Tom Hagen.